Welcome to This Explainer. I'm your host, and today we're diving deep into the future of our economy through the lens of a genuinely phenomenal book, Tyler Cowen's Average is Over. Now, if you're a professional right now, maybe in your mid-20s to late 30s, working hard and kind of just expecting that doing a good average job is going to guarantee you a comfortable middle-class life, well, I really need you to pause and listen up. As a futurist, someone who spends their life analyzing economic trends and career trajectories, I have to tell you something crucial. The future isn't 20 years away. It's actually already here. That safe, predictable, totally average career path our parents enjoyed, it's dead. We are moving headfirst into the age of smart machines, and a massive seismic shift is actively dividing the professional world into two completely distinct realities. Simply put, you'll either adopt and thrive, or you're going to be automated and eliminated.
Okay, let's hit the ground running with a number that, frankly, should be a massive wake-up call for all of us. 60%. According to the research we're breaking down today, during the 2009 economic recession, 60% of the jobs that were lost were exactly what we'd call middle-income jobs. And here is the terrifying part about that. When the economy recovered and profits bounced back, those specific middle-class jobs, they never came back at all. The recession wasn't just a temporary dip in the road. It was this huge truth-telling moment for the market. It forced companies to realize they were vastly overemploying middle management. They woke up, realized they could rely on technology and much leaner teams, and essentially restructured the economy permanently.
So we are facing this grand dichotomy in the modern workforce. Every day you have to ask yourself, are you working with computers and adding value to the machine, or are you competing against them? Because if your skills actually complement smart software, your wages and your labor market prospects are going to be incredibly bright. Sky's the limit. But if your skills do not complement the computer, or worse, if you find yourself directly competing against automated systems, you're in serious trouble. The safe middle ground we used to rely on is actively falling away into these two completely separate camps. Section 1. The New Rules of Economics. To survive this shift, we've really got to understand the battlefield we're walking onto. The new rules of economics basically dictate that massive profits only flow to resources that are scarce. On one side, if you own high-quality land, intellectual property, or possess highly specialized skills, boom, you are a scarce resource reaping massive rewards. But on the flip side, unskilled labor, it's totally abundant. Basic capital, like standard bank deposits, yields almost zero return today. And the average middle management professional, well, they're just no longer scarce. In this new world, non-scarce resources are effectively valued at zero margin. So the ultimate question for us is, how do you move yourself over to the scarce side of this table? Let's look at 3 specific actionable strategies drawn right from the text. Section 2. Strategy 1. Human-machine teaming. The source material draws a really fascinating parallel here to freestyle chess, which is where players actually use computer programs to help them play the game. But there's a brutal truth to this kind of collaboration. Human-machine teams are absolutely the best, but only under certain conditions. The book defines a worker with zero marginal product, which essentially means a useless worker, as someone whose collaboration with a computer actually makes the final result worse. Think about that. A valuable worker is someone whose participation guarantees the machine performs better. So the operator's most valuable contribution? Troubleshooting. When the system breaks down or hits a nuance it just can't understand, the human steps in to save the day. So the absolutely crucial point here is how you, as an everyday professional, actually execute this strategy. You might be sitting there thinking, well, I'm not a software engineer. There's no way I can do this. But look at step 2. The person operating the smart machine doesn't need to be an absolute top-tier expert in that specific domain. You literally don't need to be a coding genius. You just need to be highly adaptable at operating the systems, kind of like learning how to use the newest smartphone when it comes out. And you need to know exactly where your human intuition actually adds value. You got to know your limits, and you've got to know the machine's limits. Section 3. Strategy 2. Extreme Conscientiousness. Now, as machines become so much better at evaluating data, they also become a lot better at evaluating us. How many times a day do the hands of a clock overlap? Seriously, think about it. This is an actual Google interview question cited in the text. Or how about, what's the probability of a car passing an intersection in 5 minutes if the 20-minute probability is 0.9? Elite companies are using these high-pressure, intensely logical evaluations to aggressively vet their talent. They're evaluating human workers with the exact same brutal precision as chess algorithms used to evaluate moves on a board.
And the contrast this creates in the modern workplace? It's staggering. On one hand, you have the elite Google campus. We're talking premium health insurance, beautiful offices, gourmet vegetarian food, but paired with incredibly intense vetting. And on the other hand, you have folks in the gig economy, standing on dirty street corners yelling out product names with absolutely zero benefits and zero HR protections. The text makes it abundantly clear there is no middle ground anymore. You're either vetted into that elite tier or you're left in the hyper-competitive low-wage tier. That's the reality.
So to survive this intense vetting, the book highlights one ultimate rock-solid defense mechanism: conscientiousness. It is the ability to sit down, focus deeply, follow instructions, and just relentlessly execute without letting yourself get distracted. Because as information becomes essentially infinite and automation handles all the basic tasks, strict self-discipline and the sheer ability to self-motivate are quickly becoming the most highly prized human traits on the market. Cultivating extreme conscientiousness, that is going to be your armor in the new economy. Section 4. Strategy 3. Become a scarce resource.
If you want those massive profits we talked about earlier, you've got to go where the scarcity is. Let this quote really sink in for a second. Vaughn Smith, a VP at Facebook, is quoted in the text saying, "An engineer is worth $500,000 to $1 million." That's insane, right? Tech giants are so incredibly desperate for elite talent that they actively engage in what's called acqui-hiring. They will literally buy an entire startup company, totally scrap its product line, just to acquire the handful of brilliant engineers working there. That is exactly what being a truly scarce resource looks like today. So while traditional labor markets are pretty much stagnant, the STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and math, are absolutely booming. But here is the major takeaway for you. If you can't be that $1 million engineer yourself, you must become the elite manager. The source text poses a great question. Why do managers make so much more than their subordinates? Well, in this new era, an elite manager is the person who can organize, motivate, and actually extract tangible value from these highly paid, highly scarce technical geniuses. That rare organizational ability is in and of itself a massively scarce resource.
Section 5. The ticking clock. Okay, so we have our strategies, but I need to transition here to a much more sobering reality because, guys, there is a ticking clock on all of this. The text makes a really stark prediction about the macro-level societal shift we're undergoing right now. We are looking directly at a future where roughly 10 to 15% of society will be incredibly wealthy, living highly comfortable, fascinating lives, all because they adapted to the smart machines. And the remaining 85%? Well, they'll face stagnant or even declining wages. They'll be pacified by an absolute abundance of cheap digital entertainment and almost free internet services, ultimately settling into a life of much lower economic mobility. What this effectively means is that the fundamental social contract we all grew up with has been totally rewritten. We are rapidly moving from a society that basically expected everyone to have a good life to a society that outright demands extreme self-reliance. If you are relying on the traditional system or your company's legacy HR policies or standard government protections to secure your long-term career, you are on a guaranteed one-way path to that bottom 85%. You absolutely have to take control of your own value. No one else is going to do it for you. Tyler Cowen gives us this fascinating yet incredibly urgent warning. Think about it. If you watch a TV show from the 1970s, the physical world looks pretty much exactly the same as today. Cars, houses, basic infrastructure. It hasn't changed that much. And this visible consistency has really tricked us into complacency. We look around and think things aren't changing that fast. But beneath the surface, the economic foundation has already seismically shifted. The intelligent machine era isn't coming. It is fully underway right now. And that leads us to our final thought for today. The forces of automation, global integration, and machine intelligence, they do not care about your past average successes. Average is officially over. But the tools to become a high-value, highly conscientious human-machine collaborator, they are in your hands right now. So looking closely at your own career trajectory, you really have to ask yourself, will you start adapting your skills today, or will you allow yourself to be automated tomorrow? I want you to think deeply about that. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.